All right, today we're going to challenge one of the biggest, most fundamental beliefs in the entire fitness world, that lifting heavier and heavier is the only way to build muscle. But what if I told you your muscles, they don't actually know how much weight is on the bar? What if they're responding to something else entirely?
Okay, let's just dive right in with a quote that should make anyone who's ever picked up a weight stop and think. This is from Dorian Yates, a six-time Mr. Olympia, a guy who is famous for his absolutely brutal, heavy-duty training style. And yet, what does he say the biggest mistake is? It's not lifting too light. It's not controlling the lowering part of the lift. I mean, that one idea completely flips the whole lift heavy at all costs mantra right on its head.
So, let's start by digging into that common wisdom. The stuff we all hear at the gym, and see why it might not be telling us the whole story.
We've all heard this a million times. You gotta add more weight to the bar over time. And look, that's not wrong, but it's an incomplete picture. Focusing only on the number printed on the side of the dumbbell can make us totally ignore the one thing our muscles actually care about. So if it's not just about the weight, what is it about? This is where we get to the scientific principle that changes the entire game. It's all about focusing on tension. This is the real difference between just moving a weight from point A to point B and truly stimulating a muscle to grow.
And here it is, the crucial point. Your muscle fibers are covered in these little tiny sensors. And guess what? They have no idea what number is on the dumbbell. They only detect one thing, tension. So when you stretch and contract a muscle under load, these sensors basically sound the alarm. If that tension is high enough, they send a powerful signal that screams, "Hey, we need to get bigger and stronger to handle this stress."
And this quote just nails the whole concept. Think of it like this. Your form is a hose and tension is the water. If you start heaving a weight around with bad form, it's like punching a bunch of holes in that hose. Yeah, the weight might be heavy, but all that precious tension is just leaking out everywhere instead of being directed right into the target muscle. Perfect form, on the other hand, ensures all that tension goes exactly where you want it to. So, how does creating all this tension actually trigger growth? Well, the science points to three main drivers of what we call muscle hypertrophy. And you know what? Tension is the master key that can unlock every single one of them.
It really breaks down into these three key things. First, you've got mechanical tension itself. That's the main signal we've been talking about. But creating high tension also directly causes the second driver, muscle damage. These are those tiny micro tears that make you feel sore the next day. They signal your body to come in and repair the muscle, but it doesn't just repair it, it builds it back bigger. And finally, you have metabolic stress. You know it as the pump. This is when byproducts from energy use build up in the muscle, and that creates a really favorable environment for growth. The best part is that smart training uses tension to maximize all three of these at once. Now, let's get back to what Dorian Yates was talking about. We're going to look at the single most powerful and yet somehow the most overlooked way to maximize tension in every single rep. Okay, so every lift you do has two main parts. The concentric, or the positive, that's when you're actually shortening the muscle to lift the weight. Think pushing the bar up on a bench press. The eccentric, or the negative, is when you're lowering that weight and the muscle is lengthening while it's still under that load. Now, most people put all their energy into the concentric and then just let gravity do all the work on the way down. This is a massive, massive mistake.
Now, I want you to look at this number, 1.41. A huge meta-analysis of over 300 different studies landed on this exact figure. And trust me, it's the key to unlocking a ton of untapped growth. And it explains everything about the power of the negative.
That number means that you are, on average, 40% stronger during the eccentric or the lowering part of a lift. Just let that sink in for a second. You have way more strength controlling a weight on the way down than you do lifting it up in the first place. So if you're just dropping the weight, you are completely ignoring the part of the lift where you have the most potential to create that muscle building tension.
So by simply slowing down that negative, say taking 3, 4, even 5 seconds to lower the weight, you force your muscles to stay under a huge amount of tension for a longer period. This creates more of that good muscle damage, and it preferentially recruits your powerful, fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones with the most potential for growth. And hey, the science absolutely backs this up. Take a look at this 8-week study on leg extensions. A controlled 2-second negative, yeah, it produced great growth, but a 4-second negative produced even more growth in certain parts of the quad. Look at the vastus medialis. It nearly doubled its growth.
This suggests that just by playing with your tempo, you might even be able to target different regions of a single muscle.
Okay, so controlling the negative is huge, but there's another powerful way to manipulate tension that's all about how much effort you're putting in. Let's talk about how hard you should really be pushing your sets.
This is a really useful concept called repetitions in reserve, or RIR. It's just a simple way to measure your effort. So an RIR of 1 means you feel like you could have done just one more good rep. An RIR of 0 means you went to absolute failure. It's an absolutely crucial tool for managing how intense your training is.
So how do we use this? Well, a recent meta-analysis gives us a pretty clear roadmap. For pure muscle growth, the evidence shows you get the best results by pushing your sets pretty close to failure, stopping with anywhere from 0 to maybe 5 reps left in the tank. But if your goal is pure strength, it seems you can stop a little further from failure, say with 3 to 5 reps in reserve. This lets you handle those heavier loads without accumulating quite so much fatigue.
So let's put all of this together. It's not about just lifting heavy. It's about lifting smart. It's really about shifting your entire mindset from just moving weight to intentionally creating tension. Here is your new checklist. Number 1, own the negative. Control the lowering portion of every single rep. Number 2, play with your tempo. Try taking 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds on the way down. 3, if growth is your main goal, don't be afraid to push those sets close to failure. And number 4, and this is the most important one, make perfect form your number 1 priority, because bad form is just tension leakage. So, I'm going to leave you with this. The next time you go to the gym, I want you to ask yourself a different question. Stop focusing only on the number on the side of the dumbbell. Instead, with every single set and every single rep, ask yourself, how can I make this muscle work as hard as humanly possible? How can I create the most tension? Because the answer to that question, that's the real secret to growth.